1915. Dracula was defeated 18 years ago. Since then, vampire hunter Abraham von Helsing married Mina, who bore him 2 children and eventually took her to America, where the family settled far from civilization. Abraham makes sure his children never forget the evil he and their mother once faced, until one day he declares that darkness is gathering over their home again, a claim seemingly confirmed by Mina's sudden illness. To prepare his sons for battle against the approaching vampire lord, Abraham reveals his secrets to them. If you didn't know, Stephen King has 2 sons, both successful writers in their own right. The eldest writes under the pen name Joe Hill, and several of his works have already been adapted for the screen, most notably Horns by Alexandra Aya and The Black Phone by Scott Derrickson. The short story Abraham's Sons was part of Hill's debut collection, published back in 2005, and this marks its first feature-length adaptation, though screenwriter-director Natasha Kermani reworked it so drastically that the end result is an entirely different film. Unfortunately, discussing it further will require some spoilers. The original story features no vampires at all. Instead, Hill meditates on tradition and authority. Does clinging to a dark past make sense when the world has clearly changed? How effective is blind obedience and unquestioning faith as a form of upbringing? Can anything good come from it? These are smart, unconventional ideas, culminating in an unexpected yet tragically inevitable ending that underscores the need to abandon legacies built on violence and fear. Kermani's film is technically about the same themes, but certain details steer it in a slightly different direction, simplifying and reframing Hill's message to fit a more contemporary cinematic agenda. What was a universal story about how the past can poison the present and destroy the future becomes a blunt, cliché tale about patriarchy, toxicity, gaslighting, and abuse. The elder Van Helsing is rewritten from a morally ambiguous, even tragic figure into a straightforward villain, and Kermani doesn't shy away from scattering accusatory hints throughout the plot. To ensure even the most oblivious viewers grasp that patriarchy is bad, Kermani brings Mina, long dead in the original story, into the film as a key character. We now witness firsthand how her manipulative husband treats her, and for those who might miss the point, Mina casually mentions that no one but her and Abraham ever actually saw Dracula. Hill's story leaves the existence of vampires ambiguous, but Kermani's film erases all doubt. Instead of a corpse, as in Hill's version, Abraham forces his children to train on what is clearly an ordinary woman. Later, a minor character from Dracula shows up to outright question who the real evil here is. In the original, the climax arrives swiftly and suddenly, but in the film, Abraham's eldest son, through whose eyes we see the story, moves toward it deliberately. Kermani even introduces a new character, whom he should protect, a black railroad company female worker, so there's no shocking twist in the end. Instead, we get an aestheticized rendition of the old saying that good people ought to finally unite and kill all the bad ones, while the story's universal message, that violence and fear only breed more violence and fear, fades into the background, leaving behind heavy-handed metaphors and the blazing, accusatory fervor of a very progressive but not particularly subtle feminist.